Hi everyone, welcome back to Earl Grey Books. I'm Ellie and today I'm here to share with you some books that I'm hoping to reread in 2020. So I'm going up with kind of my older setup, I guess, seeing if this works with my different microphone and whatnot. So we'll see how it goes. Also, because I have all this cool art on my walls now, and yes, a little bit darker because it's very hot today and I have all my blinds and things closed again. But with all that said, we're actually going to move on to the things I'd like to reread. So first up, I'm going to start with some middle grade and YA, and then I have a few classics as well that I'm going to mention. So starting up, I've talked about the fact that I want to reread this one multiple times. I was going to do it over Christmas, didn't do it. But that is the entire Heroes of Olympus series by Reread, and this is The Lost Hero, which is the first book. So I read these for the first time, I think, in 2015, 2016. And I reread the entire Percy Jackson series at the end of 2020. And I was like, well, I'm going to read this at the end of like 2021. And then I didn't do it. So I think I'm going to put aside maybe a week or two and just reread this series. Very much looking forward to it. And then I have Unearthly by Cynthia Hand, which is kind of an older YA from back in the day. I think this was like 2011. I loved this series originally. It is a trilogy about like angels. Some of the ideas are kind of foggy, but I remember that I loved it. And I'd like to see if it holds up now. I'm hoping it does because I have very fond memories of this one. Speaking of one I have very fond memories of, I don't actually have a copy of this anymore, but I want to reread the Vampire Academy series by Rochelle Mead since there is a TV show coming out. I've wanted to reread it for a while, but I wanted to re-buy the box set because my original books were all like different sizes and different covers and just a complete mess. So I'd really like to repurchase them and reread them. I have reread the first three before, but that was a good probably 4 years ago now. Maybe even more. I think I was still living at home. So I would really like to reread them. I loved this series. This was one of the series that got me back into reading. So I was a huge reader as a child. And then, I don't know, around the ages of 11 or 12, I kind of stopped reading a bit. And then into high school, which I started high school when I was 13. And then so year 7 and 8, 13, 14, I wasn't really reading that much. And that was the heyday of Twilight. That got me back into reading. And then, this is a long spiel, but basically I read Twilight in a single day and loved it. And then my mum was like, well, I've bought you, or your grandma's bought you the rest for Christmas. You're going to have to wait. And this was in April. So I got into Vampire Academy in the meantime and read some other things, and that kind of reignited my love. So very, very fond memories of this one and very excited to get back into it and to see the TV show. I'm a little nervous. And then last for the middle grade YA, I have Melamander by Thomas Taylor. This is a pretty recent one. I think this was 20 2019. Yeah, 2019. I read this when it came out and absolutely loved it. And then the next year when the next book came out, I'd forgotten all of it. And like I bought the second one and then just didn't read it. And I was like, I'll wait for the third one. The third one is finally out. I have it. So now I don't have an excuse, but I need to reread this one so that I can remember what happens, because I have absolutely no memory. I think, well, I have like a few glimpses, but I'm also not entirely convinced that those memories are not from a different middle grade. So rereading and hopefully rediscovering my love for it and the rest of the series. And then we're going to go into classics. Now, I only have a few here. There is a chance that I will read a few other classics throughout the year. There are a few others that I'm kind of tempted by, but I'm not really much of a classics reader anymore. I think I went through a stage sort of towards the end of high school and the first few years of uni when I was really, really into reading classics, and I was like, I'm going to read like all those like 100 books you should read before you die sort of thing, and all those different lists. And I was like, I'm going to make a good go of it. I'm going to read them all, even if I don't like them. And then, a couple of years later, I was like, you know what? No, I'm not. I'm not going to read them. If I don't like them, I'm not going to push myself. But I do still have a few favorites that I would like to revisit. So, starting up, I want to redo The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. So, I read The Hobbit the year the first movie came out. I think it was 2014. 2013. I think we'd just finished high school. Maybe it was 2012. Anyway, I remember going to see it with my friends from school. And so I read this at that time, and then it took me another 2 to 3 years to even start The Lord of the Rings, and then I think another 1.5 years to like complete that series. So I would like to do this in quicker succession in terms of like, I don't want such big gaps between the books, but I'm also doing these by audio. So there are a couple of different editions, I guess, of audiobooks on Scribd or Scribd, whatever it is. And I have been listening to the like famous one who's the narrator's name I forget. But the one that everyone is like, you know, where he does like the voices and he sings and stuff. So listening to that one, really enjoy that one. And I believe that the whole Lord of the Rings is also on there, as well as a few other Tolkien's works. I think they're all read by the same guy. So I'm excited. So I have read quite a bit of this already through that, and admittedly that was a few months ago, but yeah, I remember enough that I think that I can just continue on since I've read it before, and then, you know, hopefully jump into Lord of the Rings after I finish this. So those, let's do this one. This one I've literally been meaning to reread for, I think it's maybe a year and a half now. Cara from Wild Book Garden and her book club, I think it's the Past Classics. They read the Ten of Waffle Call by Anne Bronte whenever it was, and I was like, oh my god, I love that book, that's my favorite Bronte novel. I'm gonna reread it, and then I haven't yet. So I don't know. I feel like this is one that I'm going to want to read like in winter when I can like curl up with a blanket and a cup of tea and pretend that I'm in Yorkshire. And maybe I'll make myself some Yorkshire puddings and just like go all out. Yeah, I'm really excited for this. I just wish I was back in the UK, basically. So yes, looking forward to that. And then last up, I have one of them here, but I don't have the other one yet. I created a project, a challenge for myself last year to read all of Shakespeare because I love Shakespeare, big fan of him. And I read quite a few in school and I enjoyed them for the most part. And then I've read some through uni, some of which I did not enjoy. But I decided I wanted to reread the ones that I've read and then read all the others as well. So I've done a couple so far, but the next ones that I'm thinking of getting to in terms of rereading are Hamlet and also Macbeth. So I enjoyed Hamlet the first time I read it, but I don't think I really appreciated it as much as others. So I'd like to reread this and actually pay attention this time. And Macbeth we studied in year 10 English and I actually loved it. Like, I think Macbeth is maybe one of my favorite, actually no, it's definitely one of my favorite Shakespeare plays. I don't know that I'd say it's my favorite, but it is in the realm of that. Like, it's not my top one, but it's in my top few, if that makes sense. So I'm very excited to read that one. I haven't I have revisited things that are Hamlet inspired. I read a graphic novel that was Hamlet, like word for word, but with beautiful illustrations. But I haven't really seen or read anything that is like solely Macbeth. Maybe things that are a little bit inspired by it, but nothing like overtly. So I'm very excited to give that a go and see what I think of it this time. In year 10 I would have been 15, 16, so it's literally 10 years ago. That is terrifying. So yes, those are the ones that I would like to reread. I would love to hear what you are planning to reread this year, and I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.